guys, I'm Benjamin, and in this presentation, I'll be talking about my understanding of the virtual assistant's role, the quality I believe makes one successful in this profession, the strengths that I have, my areas of growth, and how I see my journey in the VA profession moving forward. So, over this course, I saw a virtual assistant to be a professional who provides support services remotely using digital tools and the internet. So the virtual assistant does not work in a traditional office, but rather anywhere around the world, and it provides support services to individuals, teams, organizations, and they don't just complete random tasks. They are actually strategic partners who keep things running smoothly in the background. A day-to-day for a virtual assistant can look from anything like replying emails to scheduling meetings, creating presentations, documents, following up clients, even customer support and content management. All of this depends on who the virtual assistant is working for. So you can imagine an individual trying to do all of this, it quickly becomes overwhelming. This is where virtual assistants steps in. They save time, they reduce stress, improve organization, and make sure things are done efficiently. And I think that's where the value of a virtual assistant lies. It's not just about completing tasks, it's about increasing productivity, it's about being someone that important people can rely on. So there are a lot of qualities that I believe makes one successful in the virtual assistance profession. But the three that really stuck with me are patience, communication, and your technical competence. So for patience, I think patience is really, really underrated. Some people believe that once they get into the virtual assistant profession, um, things start working for them. Clients are knocking at the door, opportunities are knocking at the door. But unfortunately, that's not always the case. Sometimes building a career takes time. And patience does not only come when you're still trying to build your career, it also comes in dealing with your clients on a day-to-day basis. Because sometimes you can meet clients that are frustrated, that are unsure of what they want, but you have to take a step back, act professionally, and actually take your time to come up with solutions instead of making matters worse. Second is communication. Now, when I'm talking about communication, I'm not talking about fluency in English language. I'm talking about asking the right questions, always keeping your clients in the loop. If there are any challenges, you let them know. For example, if there's an issue with internet connectivity, you let them know instead of going silent. And clients tend to appreciate the honesty because that way they can plan adequately, they can plan around the challenge. And this builds trust. And I believe trust is very important in professional relationships. Then third is your technical competence. So in this role, you're going to need your technical skills. You'll be creating documents, you'll be organizing digital files, you'll be using different project management software. So you need to have these skills on a day to day, and these are skills that you constantly need to work on because the virtual assistant profession is a field that changes or grows rapidly because there are always going to be new ways of working, there are always going to be new tools to use. So you always need to update your technical skills, and I think this is very important for someone to be successful in the virtual assistance profession. Looking at myself, I believe I have some strengths in this role. The first that comes to mind is organization. So I've had a lot of experience working in the healthcare sector, and here managing patients, documenting accurately, triaging, or should I say prioritizing tasks needs a lot of organization. And I think this easily translates into the virtual assistant profession, where you need to organize documents, you need to schedule meetings, even schedule tasks for your clients. Another strength that I think I have is problem solving. So also in the healthcare sector, you need to think logically. You don't just jump to conclusions. If there's a problem, you need to take a step back. You need to look at the information you have available. You need to identify the problem, look at different possibilities, and select the best possible solution. And I think this also translates into the VA profession because there are going to be clients that you work with that don't just come up with straightforward instructions. Instead, they come up with a problem that you need to solve, that you need to think logically to come up with a solution for. Then, the third skill for me, or my third strength, I believe, for this profession is my willingness to learn. I enjoy learning, I enjoy gaining new skills, I enjoy new experiences. Um, and I believe I have the ability to adapt to new experiences. So I think this is going to be very important in this profession because, like I mentioned earlier, the VA profession is a field that evolves. So if you don't have this willingness to learn, you are going to be quickly left behind. I'm aware that I also have some areas that I need to work on, some growth areas. And the first is time management. So I work as a doctor contractually, and contractually because flexibility is very important to me, and that's one of the major reasons why I'm transitioning into the VA profession. And during this period of transition, I know time management is going to be tough, but it's going to be very important. I know I would have to be very intentional with my planning and have to be very strict to my schedules, all in a bit to make sure that I always meet up with deadlines. Then another area of growth for me, I would say, is technical fluency. I'm very comfortable with computers, but I'm still getting exposed to some of the software that are regularly used by virtual assistants, like your task management software, project management software, automation software, communication platforms. So that's an area that I feel that I'm still going to work on, but I feel with practice, getting more hands-on experience, and also with a growth mindset, I know I'll be able to have this, or I will have the skills. This is just a matter of time and effort. And that brings me to the growth mindset is a concept that really stuck with me during the course. It's a mindset that your abilities are not fixed. That you can't do something now does not mean you're never going to be able to do something. That it's just a matter of time and effort. That if you can't use this software, or instead of saying I can't use this software, say I can't use this software yet. So that's going to be very important in the VA profession in this rapidly evolving landscape. And closely related to that, I think, is great. And I like the description of saying great as treating life like a marathon and not a sprint, as said by Angela Duckworth. And I think this is very apt because sometimes things are going to be difficult. Things are not always going to be easy. Sometimes working with certain clients can be difficult. Building your career, using different software, learning a skill can prove very difficult. But in times like this, you just have to put your head down and just put in the effort and know that it's normal to go through things like this. You just have to put in more effort and you'll be able to scale through the challenges. I plan to stay committed in this VA role and during this course by looking at my long term goals instead of short term frustrations, seeking feedback, practicing, and constantly reminding myself that the skills I learn today are only going to make me more valuable in the future. I'm really excited about my journey in this VA role. I'm excited about gaining new skills. I'm excited about working with different individuals from different industries. I'm just excited about expanding, growing myself professionally and as an individual. I hope that by the end of this course, I'm a virtual assistant that is dependable, proactive, easy to work with, and just somebody that individuals can rely on for very important tasks. On the long run, I hope to specialize in the medical virtual assistant niche due to my background in the medical field. I think that gives me a unique advantage. And when combined with the skills I learn, both soft skills and technical skills that I learned from this course, I think to put me in a good position to help healthcare organizations and professionals around the world. Thank you for listening.